DidikTV KPM. DidikTV KPM.
A very good evening, and you are now watching Road to Success STPM 2020 together with me, your host, Sean Stephen. Now, before we begin, obviously we already have this campaign that's ongoing, which is called the Thank You Teacher campaign, or hashtag Terima Kasih Cikgu campaign, in conjunction with Teachers Day. It's going to happen on 16th of May. As you can see on the table over here, there is a few cards that's being actually done by students themselves to thank their teachers. I actually really like this one over here. As you can see, the decorations is really nicely done with the flowers, but what really attracts me is actually the books and also that little cute pencils that we have here. You can see here, Terima Kasih Cikgu. And what's really cool is when you open this, there we go. Okay, so here you can see it's actually a pop-up card, yes. And you can see all these lovely messages we have here. Terima kasih Cikgu, beautiful. And here I think it's to Cikgu or CG Lily, Cikgu Lily, jasamu dikenang. Hopefully you can see that there. And this is done by Ame Arshad alias 5 Wira. Thank you so much. But most importantly, we would like to thank all the teachers out there for all your hard work and dedication in nurturing and educating the young mindset, including me as well. And again, this is a campaign called hashtag Terima Kasih Cikgu in conjunction with Teachers Day. But before that, obviously, what's going to happen here for this show, we are going to do the final sprint for the subject Literature in English, where I believe the what we call the subject of the paper is going to be tomorrow morning. But with that, we also have a teacher that's going to go through with us in relation to literature in English. So let's have a look at her profile. And there you have it, the profile of our teacher that we have together with us today, Dr. Zalina. Very good evening to you, Dr. Zalina.
Evening.
Okay, before we begin, again, I would like to remind those of you who are at home or even online to always follow the SOPs in place, like what we're going to do right now. We have a distance of at least, I think it's about 2 meters already. Yes, I'd like to ask you to use the hand sanitizers, as will I. All right. And because we are at a very safe distance of more than 1 meter, I'd like to invite you and, of course, for both of us to open our face mask. And for those of you watching at home, yes, when you open your face mask, please do not just throw it here and there, leave it on the table, put it on your head. No, keep it in a nice place or a very safe space. Like for me and Dr. Zalina, we actually have a special container or casing to keep our mask nice and safe and clean. All right, shall we begin? Before that, maybe I'd like you to introduce yourself once again, Dr. Zalina.
Okay, I'm a lecturer at University Kebangsaan Malaysia.
Yep.
And I've been teaching for 30 plus years.
30 plus years, but you look so young.
Thank you.
How do you do it?
Young genes.
Young genes, okay. And the subject that we're touching on today is literature in English. Is it actually a difficult subject, especially at STPM level?
People have the perception that it's difficult, but actually, if you put the time and effort to really study it, it's easy when it comes to the exam.
Awesome, that's great, that's great. I'm really looking forward to what you have to share today, but let's have a look of what the candidates of this year's STPM have to say about the subject.
DidikTV KPM.
I love reading and I love learning. So naturally, I love literature. This subject has taught me so much about the world. I've learned to think critically about fiction, and I've also learned to pick up on subtext in people and current events. It has made my interaction with the real world much more meaningful.
Hello, I'm Panimala, daughter of Nadine Chilean, and I'm currently pursuing my STPM Semester 3 in College Tingkatan 6 Petaning Jaya. I love literature in English because I've always loved studying about languages and its literary elements. And one thing I love the most in literature in English is studying about poems. the messages and the feelings that the poet trying to convey. However, the hardest part in literature and English is studying everything in the syllabus, especially semester 1, since we have 22 poems and 12 short stories. Thank you.
DidikTV KPM.
And there you have it, some words from the candidates of this year's STPM for English in Literature. But since today we're going to do a really quick or last sprint for English in Literature, before that, let's take a short break and we will be back to you for Road to Success STPM 2020. Stay tuned. And we are back at Road to Success STPM 2020 for the subject of Literature in English. Together with me, Sean Stephen, as your host, and we also have with us Dr. Zalina.
Yes.
Hi again. And it's not just the both of us today. We also have some students who are already online on Google Meet. Let's just see who they are. Hi. Hello. Hello. Hi. Okay. Hi, all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to mention your name. What you need to do is just introduce yourself by mentioning your full name as well as the school that you are from. We're going to start off first with Lika Raj.
Hi, my name is Leka Raj, and I'm from Penang Preschool.
Thank you very much, Lika Raj. And next, I think we have Noor Aiman. Noor Iman.
Hello, Iman.
Hi. My name is Noor Iman Latifa, and I'm from SMK St. Thomas Kuching.
Thank you very much. Next, we have, is this Hipia? I'm sorry, I'm just reading it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Muhammad Hipia, and I'm from St. Thomas's Secondary School, Kuching, Sarawak.
Thank you very much, Hipia. And last but not least, we have Aishwarya.
Hello, my name is Aishwarya, and I'm from Penang School.
All right, thank you. And are you ready for today's final sprint? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Of course you are, because tomorrow is the paper, right?
Yes.
All right, over to you, Dr. Zalina.
Okay, good evening, everybody. All right, to the 4 students as well as the students outside, okay, who are like probably anxious about paper. Okay,
Yes.
so you're going to get the last minute tips for tomorrow. All right, so first of all, I would like Leka Raj to tell me what novels are we doing this for this paper 3. Leka Raj?
Thank you. So for semester 3, the novel that we will be studying is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, as well as The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan.
Okay, good. Thank you. Aish, what's the difference between critical appreciation and essay?
Critical application is what we do in chapter 3, and next one is what we do in section B.
All right, okay, because and we will be looking at the differences and how you can actually try to get an ace for those different sections.
Yes.
All right, so as you can see, this is it, and each question is worth 25 marks. Okay, so for section A, you have 2 questions, one from each novel, and each question is actually an excerpt with a short question at the end of it, and then you have to choose one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so answer the question based only on what in the excerpt. You cannot go outside and talk about the theme or whatever. All right, now section B and C. Section B is Pride and Prejudice, and you choose, and there's only one question. You have to do that question. It's compulsory.
Yep.
And section C, the same thing with Joy Luck Club. Right, so basically you have to answer both questions. So because with the addition of section A and section B, which means you answer 3 questions.
Okay, great.
All right, so the question is, how do you study a text?
Yeah.
Because literature is not just about reading.
Yeah.
Right, because you have to understand and try and pull it apart before you can understand what's going on. So basically, yes, you do need to read the text. You read the text not just once, but many times to understand the story, pick up the details and so on. But the thing is, when you read, it's not enough just to read. You have to make notes.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
And because when you make notes, that's when the notes, you're doing an action, a physical action, and that helps you remember what you've done.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow triggers the memory, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
triggers the memory. Okay, so how useful are internet resources? Okay, how many of you have utilized internet resources in your studies? Thumbs up if you have. Good, right? You should, because there's tons of stuff out there. Okay?
Yes, it is.
All right, so you can see that I've given you 4, but actually there's a lot more. But you have to be careful about, are they reputable?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
If it's a blog written by a first-year college student, it's not as good as a university portal that is about literature and is by a lecturer.
Yes.
All right. And the thing is, I've had questions like, can we watch the movie version and answer the questions based on that? No.
No?
No, you
Okay.
can't.
That's a
Alright?
good thing, because I think I'll be probably that student, a bit lazy for me. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the thing is, especially if you've not read the book, don't watch the movie.
Oh, okay.
Because movies are often adaptations.
Yes.
All right. So they change things in the movie. All right. And then when you, I'm afraid that you might remember what the movie was and answer that based on the question, because the question wants you to answer based on the book.
Yes, that's right.
All right,
Yeah.
so you have to be careful there. I'm afraid that if you only read or watch the movie and then you answer based on the movie, you lose marks.
That's true.
Because
especially
you
if it's an adaptation,
Yes.
and you might remember the adaptation part, the
Right, and the-
adapted part, but
and
not
the facts are
exact
different.
part. Yes, that's true.
Right. Okay, another thing that you can do as a last-minute thing is to actually practice answering exam questions.
Okay.
I mean, you've done enough reading, you've done enough making notes. Now, utilize again, trying to be active in how you learn.
Yes.
Right? And use past exam questions, or, if you're alone, you're a private student, okay, how do I access, I don't have a teacher. Go online, look for exam questions or even discussion topics on study guides.
Yes.
All right? Take those topics, write down the essay title, close the book, close the laptop, and write.
Yes.
Give yourself 30 minutes and write. See how much you can remember and how much you can actually answer the question.
Yes.
Okay? Only then are you really utilizing, being critical and analytical about how you are answering the question. Okay? So set timer to 30 minutes, write, don't refer to the notes. And then when you've done that, after 30 minutes, you open back the book or the website and check how close is your answer to that on the website, to the past. If you have a teacher, the teacher might mark your question, your answer, right?
okay,
And then you learn. So you don't just do it once or twice. Do it like almost every day,
Yeah.
right? So then you can get better at it.
Okay.
All right. So again, you have 2 hours for the paper 3. So basically 120 minutes, you
Yep.
divide by 3, which means 40 minutes per question.
Yes.
All right? So basically, but the thing is, you don't write for 40 minutes. Engage brain beforehand, okay?
Yeah.
All right? So 10 minutes preparation, 30 minutes writing.
Okay.
All right? And so the question about how long should my essay be,
Yes.
how much can you write in 30 minutes?
Oh, okay. Okay, so there's no particular word
No.
count or anything like that?
No, as long as you do this,
Okay.
all right? Read the question and underline the important words.
All right.
So just to make it stick in your mind, what is it, right? And then think and plan,
Okay.
all right? And you have a 5-paragraph essay, okay? Introduction, 1 paragraph.
Yep.
Second paragraph, first point. Third paragraph, second point. Fourth paragraph, third point.
Yes.
All right. You can add more if you want. If you know that there are more points, you can put in. But the minimum is 3. Sorry, 3. All right. And you have conclusion, 1 paragraph.
Yeah.
That's it. 30 minutes. I think you can do it.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the thing is, number 1, read the question. Okay. What is the question asking you to look at? Is it character? Is it language? Is it literary techniques? Okay. What does it want you to do? Are you talking about discussing the role of the characters? Are you examining how symbolism represents love? So think carefully about what the question is asking for.
Yeah.
Right? So the thing is, You've studied the book, you know everything about the book from A to Z and in between, right? But the thing is, don't just write everything you know about the text. That shows that you've not understood what you've studied, right? So if the question is about relationships between characters, number one, identify which character you want to focus on. Then, how do the interactions between the characters help us understand what the characters are like? Okay? And don't include information that is about plot, imagery, theme, unless it is directly related to what you want to do. Okay? So structure your essay logically. Okay? So you look at the introduction. Explain what you want to do. Show how the author uses symbolism, for example. And before the thing is, define what is symbolism. So that signals to the marker that you understand what symbolism is.
Ah, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And makes their job easier.
That's true, yeah.
Okay. And state how you are going to approach the question. Is it about identity? All right. If you're talking about symbolism of objects, you have to identify, okay, what are the objects that it becomes a symbol?
Okay.
And how are they used as a love symbol? Mm-hmm. All right. So then you identify the objects and analyze how they become symbols. Through, basically, you can say that it's through hard work and sacrifice, okay, to protect, ensure the well-being of the daughter that they've given the jewelry to, for example.
Yeah.
So it has to be logical. All right. Don't just because you did not engage brain before your hand, you're writing all over the place and you're like going round and round in the bush, and then you say, and whoever's reading your essay will say like, what the heck is this about?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It has to be all logical and
Yes.
and it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So I think it comes down to proper planning
Yes.
at the end.
And then conclusion.
Yeah.
Have a conclusion. Don't leave the reader hanging. All right. The thing is, don't add moral or hot style endings.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't say the moral of the story is. Okay.
Oh,
This is
okay.
not primary school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Or as a student of literature, I feel that. No, we don't need that.
Okay.
Okay. So basically restate what you've done in the essay. Okay. And also use linking words. Like, and then transitions like first, second, and then, be careful what you are using, right? And you know what the words mean and how to use them. Okay? Okay, essay writing question. What are the common mistakes that students always do?
Yes, I think this is very important.
Right? Study both texts and know them thoroughly, because if you only study one text, remember you have 3 questions, automatically you lose 25 marks because you've not answered one question.
Oh, okay.
Gone,
Yes.
right? And section A, yes, so you do have a choice, either a Joy Luck Club or Pride and Prejudice. But the thing is, if you only studied Joy Luck Club,
Yeah.
and then you have the question, 2 questions, but the question Joy Luck Club is harder than Pride and Prejudice.
Oh.
Ooh, bad news.
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
So study both texts.
Okay.
Okay? So read the question carefully, think and plan, and you must provide evidence from the text.
Yes.
Okay? And arguments quite often, especially if it's not being logical and all that, again, that also works against your favor.
Yes.
Right? Padding, right? This I have to mention. Okay, so because they're talking about padding is about when you include unnecessary information, because you only written like one page of an answer, and you're afraid that, oh no, this is not going to be enough. What else can I put in? So you put in theme, you put in plot summary, hoping that somewhere in there you will get marks.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not the way to go.
All right.
Basically, because you'll be diluting your argument. Whatever you had put in the first place, because you're adding in other information that is not useful, you're not going to get any more marks.
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
All right? So, time management, answer all questions. That has to be done.
Yes.
Okay? All right, so how are we for time?
Yes, I think we have a lot more time for us to cover Section A.
Okay. All right, so Section A is critical appreciation, where you have one, an excerpt, okay, given by the examiners, and you have to only use that excerpt to answer the question. You cannot go beyond that. You cannot talk about, what happened in chapter 1 when the excerpt comes from chapter 53.
I see. Okay.
All right, so this is the question. With close reference to the passage, discuss the attitude of Mrs. Bennet and Elizabeth towards Lady Catherine. All right, so basically what you need to do is, number one, read the passage.
Okay.
Right, because it's quite long, so you have to read it. And then you have to understand what is happening in the excerpt. Then go back to the question. Read the question again. Okay, I've read the question once, I've read the passage, now I've read the question. Okay, where is the answer going to come from?
Okay.
That's when you start underlining words, phrases. Right? For example, okay, this is what I've done. Right? She entered the room with an air more than unusually ungracious, made no other reply to Elizabeth's salutations than a slight inclination of the head, sat down without saying a word. Right? That's important. So underline. Okay, again, Mrs. Bennet received her with the utmost politeness, and then the reply is from Lady Catherine. Lady Catherine says, that lady, I suppose, is your mother.
I see.
And that, I suppose, is one of your sisters.
Ah,
All right, so you know the tone, actually. I mean, if it helps,
Yep.
dramatize. Why not?
Yeah.
But don't be too loud, yeah?
I actually believe that we actually have a question from one of the students that's online. Who is that, actually? Oh, Hipia, yes.
Me, madam, doctor. I have a question because, doctor, that looks like a compare and contrast question. How would you, doctor, advise us to structure the comparison? And just to add a little bit to the question, what distinguishes a grade A script from a B and C grade script?
Okay.
Thank you, doctor.
All right, so I will come to that a little bit later. Give me about 2-3 minutes, then I will come answer your question, right? Because we have to go through the actual excerpt itself.
Okay,
All right?
okay.
All right, so as you go along, you can say that, okay, then you start, when you highlight, you say, okay, because there are 3 characters in there, so you have to look at, okay, what does Lady Catherine do? What does Mrs. Bennet's reaction? What is Elizabeth's reaction, right? So when it comes down to it, all right, this is it. Okay, I'm a very visual person, and I like to visualize, okay, and make it kind of like a graph or something so that I can see, okay, how much do I have and what is the relationship between them.
I see. Okay.
Right? So as there are 3 characters, you have Lady Catherine, you have Mrs. Bennet, and Elizabeth, and you have in the center attitude.
Okay.
All right? And why? And you're right, Hipia, when you say that it looks like a compare contrast, because when you put it like this, and you see that Mrs. Bennet is versus Elizabeth, yes, it doesn't use the word compare, but because you're talking about differences, that is actually contrast.
Aha, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So you go contrast that way.
Okay.
Right? So, but basically is, number one, you have to answer, okay, what is the thing that's being discussed?
Okay.
Right? It's Lady Catherine. So your first paragraph could be about her. But I think so you put down, first of all, when you prepare, you put down whatever point that comes into your head about the characters. So Lady Catherine is proud, she's opinionated, she's a snob, she's insolent, she's rude. And Mrs. Bennet, she's a foolish lady, very noisy, you can't shut her up. Okay? And she has one goal in life, which is to marry off all her 4 daughters.
Okay.
And she's very eager to please.
Okay.
Okay? And Elizabeth, the same thing. She's intelligent. And by the time of the short story, the excerpt comes around, she is more humble. Because she's learned about, things about herself. And she realizes that she is not as faultless as she thought she was.
Okay.
Okay? All right? But the thing is, you have to, okay, for example, like Mrs. Bennet, one goal in life, do you need that? Because you're talking about attitude towards Lady Catherine.
Okay.
You don't, right? So you cut that out.
All right.
Okay, so it's the same thing. You need to decide, okay, what is useful for the answer? Leave that in. The rest, don't use it.
Okay.
Okay? So, for the introduction, you can say that, number one, because it's section A, it's a critical appreciation thing, you have to identify where the excerpt comes from.
Okay.
Right? In this case, this is somewhere around about chapter 53, 56, I can't remember, but it's okay if you cannot remember.
Yeah.
All right? The exact chapter, but as long as you know that The context is Lady Catherine has heard unpleasant news, and she has come post-haste
Okay.
to visit the Bennets to tell them, do not do this.
Okay.
Right? So that's the context. Right? And basically, the excerpt is about the fact that it's a very awkward visit from this very high and mighty lady.
Yes.
All right? And she treats them like dirt.
Oh. Oh no.
Okay, and you can see the stops and starts in conversation because she's there because she wants something, and she's looking around and she's not happy with what she sees.
Yep.
She's not happy with the people, and when Mrs. Bennet tries to engage in conversation, she answers, but she stops, doesn't continue, and then she goes off on a different tack, asking about the room and something else.
Okay.
All right. So basically, by the end of that short first paragraph, you talk about to show the differences in attitude towards Lady Catherine.
Okay.
All right. Then, second paragraph.
Yes.
The body.
After the introduction.
Yeah, second paragraph. You focus on Lady Catherine because that is what you are comparing with. That is the thing that you're comparing, right? So you talk about Lady Catherine. What is she like? She's a snob and rude. And because this is critical appreciation, you do already have the excerpt, so use it.
Aha, okay.
Right? So bring up examples from the excerpt to show that she is a snob, she's a rude, right? She doesn't engage in conversation, she makes unkind remarks. I mean, the park is very small, kind of like a prettyish wilderness by the side of the lawn. It's like,
Yeah.
okay? And so she is very domineering, okay? And she wants to order the middle-class Elizabeth to tell her to stay away from Darcy, my nephew, my very rich nephew, who she says is engaged to her daughter.
Okay.
Right? Okay, then you go into the differences.
Yes.
All right, so I'm answering your question, Hipia. Okay, so that's when you, okay, the thing is, which one do you go first? Mrs. Bennet or Elizabeth? Either. Right, you can do either one.
Yeah.
Because, all right, because there's a lot, to me, the question starts with Mrs. Bennet and Elizabeth, so, okay, fine, okay, let's go with Mrs. Bennet first, because you don't have that much to write about her.
Yeah.
Right? I can say that she's very welcoming, very civil, in spite of the fact that she's almost empty-headed. I mean, she has the decency to try and make the guests comfortable.
Yes.
And so on. But Catherine was rude and talks down to her. But the thing is, because she's a little bit empty-headed, she doesn't know that Lady Catherine is being condescending towards her.
Yes.
And she treats her like this great lady coming to visit.
Yeah.
Right? So that's one part of it.
Okay.
Right.
So before we move further, how about we take a short break and we will be back with Road to Success, STPM 2020 for the subject Literature in English, the final sprint. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You are now watching Road to Success STPM 2020 for the subject Literature in English. The final sprint because tomorrow is the paper. So we have Dr. Zalina with us today sharing some last-minute tips on how we can score or get the maximum score for this paper. Over to you, Dr.
Okay,
Zalina.
thank you, Sean. All right, so how are you guys doing? Are you still okay? Yeah? Not sleepy yet, yeah? All right, okay. Right, so continue. Okay, we've talked about Mrs. Bennet just now. Now we look at Elizabeth.
Okay.
Right? And you have a lot more to talk about her because she's a major character in the story.
Yeah.
Okay, she's the heroine. Plus also, in the extract itself, if you have a look at that, you can see that there's more about Elizabeth, the interactions between Lady Catherine and Elizabeth going on.
Okay.
All right, so you focus on that. Okay, and then remember to compare. So when you are writing, you're talking about Mrs. Bennet first.
Okay.
Okay, and then on one hand, so Mrs. Bennet, she's not aware that Lady Catherine is being very condescending, but Elizabeth does.
Okay.
All right. So that then you're showing the compare and the contrast. Okay. So the thing is that because you are talking about section A, where you talk about the extract. So you have to use it. So in a way, you are also using the extract to show how the mood changes.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So when Elizabeth is, when Mrs. Lady Catherine Lady Catherine, sorry, I'm getting mixed up, comes in, everybody is surprised. Even more, Elizabeth even more so, because why would she come? Because they've got nothing to do with her.
Yeah.
Right. And so she's puzzled by the visit, but she's still being very civil because it's their guest. Okay. But as the visit progresses, you can see that she quickly finds Lady Catherine becoming more and more obnoxious. She becomes very disagreeable, and basically Elizabeth says, why do I have to be nice to her when she's not nice to everybody in the house? So she becomes angry herself, okay, and you can pick up details like that from the text, okay, because you have the text there, so you use quotations, you use short paragraphs, short words or phrases that you can use to put into your essay, right? But the thing is, you have to make your point first. Don't just list phrases that tells you what Catherine is like or what Elizabeth is like. You have to explain what it means.
Yeah.
Right? So as the visit progresses, she becomes more and more discomforted, Elizabeth, right? And finally, Lady Catherine says, look, I want to go out. Basically, she's signaling to Elizabeth, I want to have a private conversation with you without your interfering mother and sisters.
Okay.
Right? So she goes out, and then once they're out of earshot, she goes bang, like a submachine gun, okay? And telling Elizabeth, this, therefore do not go near Darcy, my nephew. And what is Elizabeth's reaction? Was she happy? Guys, happy or not? Not happy, right? But even though at that point in time, Elizabeth was still unsure whether she likes or hates Darcy.
Yep.
All right. But when she's cornered by Lady Catherine like that, she comes up with, no, I will not say I will not go after. I will not say no if he comes after me.
Yeah.
Right. And Lady Catherine is like goes off in a huff because she can't do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, by the end of it, Elizabeth refuses to be bullied into agreeing.
Okay.
Right? She stands her ground.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so the conclusion is there are differences in attitude. Yes. Okay, you showed that. Because why? Because of the differences in character. Because Mrs. Bennet is like that, and therefore that's how she treats Lady Catherine.
Yes.
But Elizabeth is more aware, okay, aware of what Lady Catherine is like and what she actually wants. She is not willing to bow down and say, okay, thank you, I will do it. Okay?
Yeah.
All right? So the thing is, remember, focus only on what is in the extract.
Yeah.
Okay? Use that and nothing else. Don't talk about theme, don't talk about plot, don't talk about Mr. Bennet, because it doesn't appear at all in the extract.
Yeah.
All right? So you're making your answer longer, but you won't get any marks. Remember, you only have 30 minutes per question. Right?
All right.
Okay, so don't summarize. If you're not quite sure what to say, okay, first of all, I'll summarize what's going on in the story. Okay, fine if it's one paragraph. But if it's like half your answer, you're not going to get much marks.
Okay.
All right? So understand clearly what the question is asking, and use quotes from the text, and organize your essay clearly. You signpost, right? Okay, so lead your reader from one point to the next. Okay?
All right.
Okay, now we go to section B.
Okay. But before that, maybe we can ask the students who are online, do you have any questions so far? If you do, you can just ask your questions for section A, because there's no going back, we're going to move on to section B. Any questions so far? All good? All right, I guess we have masters online. They're perfectly understood. Over to you, Dr. Zalina.
Okay, section B, right? Is Pride and Prejudice or Amy Joy Luck Club your favorite text? Of the two, which one is you like better? Of the two texts, which one do you like better? Or you don't have a preference? It's something which has been assigned to you, so you do it. Okay? All right, so basically the question is, with close reference to the Joy Luck Club, examine the use of symbolism to represent love. Okay?
Right.
Looks easy, right? But there can be a trap in there if you're not careful.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay, again, plan, right? Okay, you know that symbolism basically is about objects, characters being used to represent something else.
Yes.
Okay, so you go through your mind, okay, what are the objects that's being used as symbols of love, right? So it can be the jade pendant, it can be the ring, a candle, the vase, the crab, food, right?
Yeah.
Characters, the mother and the daughters. And the figures and characters, the Chinese animal zodiac, as well as the 5 elements within that zodiac. You can have, like gold, metal,
Fire,
air, fire,
water.
wire, right? So
Okay.
the different combinations shows that the differences in character.
Okay.
All right, so those indicates what kind of character. Okay.
All
So
right.
number 1,
Okay.
define symbolism in your first paragraph.
Aha.
Okay. So basically, you're talking about the use of objects, characters, figures, as well as colors, and even to represent abstract ideas and concepts.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
so they can refer to objects and characters that are used to represent love in the novel.
Okay.
Right. So then you bring in the novel. First, a general definition.
Yeah.
Then you bring it to the text, and then what are you going to do with it? Basically, identify and examine. And examine means you look closely and analyze
Okay.
how the author uses it to symbolize the different aspects of love.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So if you do it, then it's clear that, okay, from the logic, the big picture, you go down to the smaller
It's like a
picture.
funnel, right? So
Yeah.
the general terms, and then you go closer towards what you actually want to
Yeah.
present in the text or in your essay.
Okay? So jewelry is a big thing in the story.
Yeah.
Right? So we can have jewelry which is passed down, which is inherited. Okay? And the 4 mothers in the story, their stories, they are basically people who are not rich.
Okay.
So it takes a lot of effort, time, and money to even get to buy a piece of jewelry,
Yes.
especially like something like jade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
So it can represent a mother's unwavering love. No matter what happens to the daughter, whether she's good or bad, this is meant for her.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So the jewelry represents the mother's love and hard work and sacrifice, and also the fact that when she gives it to the daughter, she's telling you, look, I'm giving you the most precious thing in my life because you are precious.
Oh. Okay.
Right? That's deep, right?
Yes. Yes. Hit me right there.
Okay. So the thing is, examples. You have to give examples, right? So it can be Su Yuan giving the jade pendant to her daughter, Jing Mei, right, to show that she's priceless. Okay, but to Jing Mei, because the pendant is a bit old-fashioned, it represents a reminder of the differences in the cultural values between them.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Right, so the symbol is supposed to be a symbol of jade. The jade pendant is supposed to be a symbol of love, but they see it in a different way.
I see.
One
Okay.
positive, one negative.
Oh no.
Right? But after her mom's death, and the thing is, when the mother gives Jing Mei the pendant, she does not wear it because it's too old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Right? So
Okay.
but when the mother dies, she starts to wear the pendant. Right? And the meaning of the pendant changes.
Ah.
A reminder of mother and what
Yeah.
she represents, which is tradition.
Ah. Okay.
Okay? The filial love.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have another example. An Mei, another mother. Okay? She was given a sapphire ring.
Ooh.
Right? Very
Yeah.
expensive.
Yep, yep.
Okay? And she hangs on, and she was able to hang on to it even until after she comes to America. She migrates to America with the
Yep.
ring. She brings it over. And she marries, she has kids. But one day, they were at the beach, and Bing, the son, drowned.
Oh.
And when he drowned, she actually threw the sapphire ring into the ocean in a futile bid to say, okay, I'm going to give you my most precious thing, God. Please give my son back.
Yeah.
Right? It's futile, but she's willing to sacrifice everything.
Yes.
You know, every attempt made to try and get the son back.
Yeah.
So another aspect of love.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Lina's vase, another daughter. Okay, there's four mothers, 4 daughters in the story. Okay, so Lina's vase, the vase represents a shaky marriage to Harold. Harold is this Mat Saleh.
Okay.
Right, and they were not really happy. Right, and the vase, because Lina puts the vase on this very shaky stand, which the husband made when he was a student of architecture.
Oh, okay.
Right, and she knows the thing is shaky, but she leaves
Still
it
puts it
there.
there.
She doesn't move it elsewhere.
Okay.
To more safer, someplace safer. So in the end, when the vase breaks, it represents the end of the marriage.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Okay, so and it's also it also shows how her inability to actually do something about it.
Yeah.
Right? She could have done, but she does not do it.
Yes.
Okay. On the other hand, you have Lindo's red candle. Okay. In traditional Chinese marriage, on the first night after the marriage, they will light 2 candles.
Okay.
Right? And the candles are supposed to be, if by the next morning the candles are still alight,
Yes.
that shows that the marriage will be a happy and prosperous one.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's
Okay.
traditional.
Yeah.
Okay, but Lindo, because imagine you are being sold off to become the second wife or the third wife
Okay.
when you're 12.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it was like, the reality of life then.
Yeah.
So it's a very difficult life, right? And for her, she doesn't want that life.
Yes.
Okay, so she attempts to blow out the candle,
Yeah.
right? But she thought she's done it, and hopefully it will be seen the next day. But a servant comes in and
Lights
relights
the candle
it.
back.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
But she knew what she's done.
Yeah.
And later on, she was able to manipulate that incident
Yes.
to get her freedom.
Huh.
Right?
Oh.
So yeah. Right? So it shows that by the time of Lindo's life, she is able to say, no, I want out of this marriage, and she was able to manipulate the husband as well as the second wife, right, to actually let her go.
Oh. Okay.
So she was able to let her go,
Yep.
to go actually and leave for America actually.
Yeah.
That's how she did it. Okay. So Lindo blowing out the candle is actually a symbol of her getting out of that marriage. Shows that she does have control over her life. Unlike the fact that when she was first being sold off at 12 years old, she had no say at all. But by the time that she left, she had a say in the life.
Ah, all right.
Okay. Interesting, right?
Yes, very interesting indeed.
Okay. Food is another example. Object.
Okay. I see.
Okay. Okay. So food is basically sustenance,
Yes.
right? You feed your kids for survival and all that, okay? And then you can use examples in direct quotations. Waverley describes cooking as how my mother expressed her love, her pride, her power, her proof that she knew more than Auntie Sue, because the mothers can also be very, competitive among themselves.
Aha. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right, Chinese mothers.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. So the thing is, like Jing Mei also says that Chinese mothers show their love through hugs, not through hugs and kisses, but through stern offerings of steamed dumplings, okay, food, but then duck's gizzards, not really eat it, but it's actually sustenance. So whether it's like duck's gizzards or whatever, it's food you eat,
Yes.
right? Because that's all there is.
Yeah.
Okay, or something like crab, which is supposed to be a delicacy, and you serve it for Chinese New Year among them. And there was one incident where there was a celebration, Chinese celebration between the family, between Waverley's family and also Jin Mei's, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And you do have, and there was supposed to be 11 people.
Okay.
And 11 crabs were bought. But the thing is, at the shop, the owner of the shop says they took one and the crab fell and died.
Yeah.
Okay, but no, you chose it, you have to pick it.
Oh.
So
okay.
right. So you have 11 people coming, but only 10 good crabs. So one is like already not so nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So in the end, Waverly was there first. She had, and Chop, that's mine. And she takes all the good ones
Yeah.
for herself, her mother, and her daughter. And Suyen and Jinmei are left with the not so good ones.
Oh no.
All right. So,
Yeah.
and in the end, Suyuan goes without.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay.
So that shows that in the end, it's sometimes not what you, and basically it's Suyen showing to the daughter Jinmei that, yeah, I mean, sometimes you're not as worthless as you think you are. You deliberately chose to not have the crab, to not eat the crab because it's gone off.
Yep.
Right? And letting somebody else do it.
Yeah.
Okay, but Suyen is telling the daughter, look, you are the one who is more empathetic. You're better than Waverly, who is very much about me.
Yeah.
Right?
So this is all based on the topic of symbolism, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we have about 5 more minutes left. Any other important points you want to touch before time runs out?
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was that fast.
Yeah. They say when you're having fun, right?
Okay. All right. So basically, the conclusion is that there's a strong element of symbolism connected to love in the novel. So you can talk about, okay, what does jewelry represent?
Yes.
How is a mother's sacrifice being utilized? And also the characters themselves can represent aspects of love because the mothers can represent tradition or antiquity if you see the negative side of things.
Yes.
And the parents and the daughters represent the newer generation.
Yeah.
All right? So the thing is, quotations. What's the difference between quotations, paraphrase, and summary? Because sometimes you're not quite sure.
Yes.
Right? And especially for questions section B and C, right? So do I quote or do I paraphrase?
Aha. Okay.
Right? Not unlike section A where you do have the excerpt and you just pick and just quote.
Yeah.
Right? You don't need to paraphrase unless it's a long paragraph.
Yeah.
All right? So basically when you quote, you're talking about short passages and it's word for word. Okay? And you use the quotation marks.
Yes.
Right? Whereas when you paraphrase, you're putting a section of the text, maybe half a paragraph or so, okay? And you use your own words to describe, to rephrase the thing.
Correct.
But the thing is, you have to keep the meaning of the text.
Yes, that's right.
Okay? When you're talking about summary, it's in general. You can do a chapter summary, a book summary, so it's a longer piece of text, but it's actually shorter than the original. Okay? So that's the main difference. So for example, for this, okay, remember this is from the first paragraph, from the first section. Okay, she entered the room and all that. So when you paraphrase, when you rewrite, it becomes, she entered the room in a very ungracious manner, nodded slightly in reply to Elizabeth's greeting, and wordlessly sat down.
Yes.
Right, so you're still retaining the original meaning of the quote, but you're making it shorter.
Shorter, in your own words.
In your own words.
I see.
Okay. All right. So basically, final words of advice.
Yes.
Get enough sleep before this, after this. Okay. Don't be late for the exam.
Oh, yes.
Right. Keep calm. Say your prayers, say your dua before the exam starts. Breathe. Okay, don't forget to breathe. Because that calms you down. Okay, go zen. Right? And then make sure you manage your time well. Remember, you have to answer 3 questions, not 2, not 1. Right? So it's better if you oh God, I've lost my. Okay, it's better if you able to answer 3 questions, not so bad, rather instead of just 1 really brilliant answer and 2 useless answers.
Yes, that's true. That's
okay. All right?
Yeah.
So that's it.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Zalina, for sharing all your tips and also insights on how we can score best, or for the candidates to score best for their paper, which is tomorrow. And of course, special thanks to Lekaraj, Hipia, Aish, as well as Ayman for joining us today online. And all the best to you, as well as those of you who will be sitting for your paper tomorrow, Literature in English. All the best to you, and hopefully you can utilize the tips that's been provided by Dr. Zalina. And of course, keep calm and good luck for STPM. And we'll see you, and all the best for STPM paper tomorrow. All the best, guys, and we'll see you then. Bye.
DidikTV KPM.
Nama saya Lee Ubeng, bapa kepada Karen Lee Ming Hui. Saya harap Karen akan dapat keputusan yang baik dalam STPM. My daughter enjoys English literature a lot. Her teacher Puan Surya's passion for the subject makes learning so much more fun. And it's not just about enjoying stories, but it's about developing critical thinking skills and articulating complex ideas fluently, which are soft skills that will be useful in future.
Hello, my name is Saraswati. My daughter Panimalar is currently pursuing STPM Semester 3 in College Tingkatan 6 Petaling Jaya. I supported my daughter's decision in taking literature in English since that is what she wanted to do, and I really hope she can achieve her dreams and lead a comfortable life. I believe my daughter will get a good results, and lastly I would like to thank all the teachers who helped her throughout the journey.